I used to go down and swim with Moko early in the morning before other people would get down the beach. I used to go down about 6:30, and she used to be there just waiting for someone to play with, and she used to bring me a stick about that long, and I'd just play with her like a puppy dog. I'd throw the stick out and she'd come back and she'd come and try and take it off me, and I'd throw it out and she'd bring it back. So I was really lucky. About half an hour later other people would see her and come down, and I'd leave her, but she was always looking for someone early in the morning. When I first met her, she came into the corner of Taylor's Bay and there were just crowds of people, and I used to get a bit worried that people might hurt her. Some of the young teenage boys used to jump on her and try and hold her, but I soon realised that she only did with people what she wanted to do, because she could easily get away. She had the power and the strength just to get away if she wanted to. Her judgment of depth, and when she'd skim under a kayak, her sense of judgment of objects was just amazing. She used to talk to me. She was really, really wonderful. She had I'm not sure what sort of, but she had a dolphin talk, and she would talk to you. One day when I was bringing the boat in, she tried to get me to go out and play with her, and she would just come and push me, her whole body, onto my knees, and then I would run around, so I was on the inside of her, and she would come and she would just she was trying to herd me out to play with her. I had got in the water with her when we were bringing the boat in out in deeper water, and I'd just held on to her fin, and I have photographs, and friend's got a video. They were taking a video, and I was just getting a ride with her, but I would I think it was, I'd let go because I was really scared that I was going to end up, right out at sea. She would play with anything you gave her. She loved balls. She played with crayfish pot boys. She loved boogie boards. She would take the boogie boards out and smash them in half if she felt like doing that. She would get the oars off kayaks and head off with them. I'd seen her with a yacht one day, and she kept lifting the rudder, the tiller, so the yacht had no steerage, and the Dolphin was behind, and they'd put it down and she'd pop it up, and they'd put it down and she'd pop it up, and they took the yacht out of the water, and then they just gave up. It was so funny. I'd heard a story, a fisherman told me that one day they'd been out, and she came around when they were fishing, and they'd thrown her a pilchard to feed her, and she just took off, so they said, oh well. And she came back up to them, and she had a little gurnet in her beak, and she just tossed it into the boat, and as if to say, look, if you want to feed me, that's what I eat. There's another story that was reported in the paper of a woman who'd come to swim with her in the winter time, and by the boat launching, and Moko had quite a big snapper that she was playing with, and this lady went to get the snapper, and the Dolphin would take it away, and she went to get it again and take it away, and then in the end the Dolphin gave it to her, and she took it up the bank. It was a big fish, and ended up having snapper for her dinner. There were 2 whales that got stranded around at Opatama there, and the ranger, to cut a long story short, had just about given up on them because they'd had them in and out and in and out, and it was a low tide, and there was a bit of a channel that had formed, and they had just made the decision to destroy the whales. And anyway, what they did was Moko came in and started talking to the whales and led the whales out the channel and out to sea. So yeah, absolutely amazing, and that was in the newspaper, that story. To me, she was such a highly intelligent animal that she could sense somehow that new people had come down to the beach to see her, because she would visit everybody and she would bring joy to everyone, and you had to be patient and wait, but at some point she would come up, so those little children, those new ones, because she would let you stroke her and pat her. She would let you But she just seemed to know that everybody that came down that day would get to actually see her. I watched her from the shore do it, I watched her in the water do it, and that was something that just truly amazed me. She would come around when you were fishing, but you couldn't fish if she was there because she liked to bring your sinker back up to the surface, or your anchor. She'd muck around with your anchor rope. One day my son took a yellow kayak out. She seemed to like the colour yellow, and he got quite far out at sea playing with her, so we took the boat out to go and get him back in, and so we threw him the ski rope and said, hang on to this, but as soon as we did that, the Dolphin just turned the kayak side on, so we couldn't tow it. So we gave up that, so we hand pulled him in on the kayak, but she still got between the boat motor and the kayak so that we couldn't get him on board. She just loved somebody to play with. She'd follow the boat out with us, and then when she got sick of it, she'd go off. But it was nothing to be out fishing and find her just arrive suddenly, and you used to be pleased to see her, but you used to think, oh well, there goes the fishing. She really adopted humans as her family, and there were some good things, but there were some sad things about that. I personally was really happy that she didn't die at Mahia. I would have found that really quite distressing. I was actually overseas when she died, and I was sad, but it was sort of inevitable. It was like something was going to happen to her at some time, and I always had a fear here that the fishermen or the crayfishermen would get really sick of her. The fishing club had asked for no nets to be put in the area, but of course that didn't happen, and that to me would have been really sad, because you know, fishing was their livelihood, and she certainly was a pest when it came to crayfishing or fishing nets or anything. I'd say she helped herself to a few fish out of all of those. I was really fascinated with Moko, so much that I was teaching 3rd and 4th formers who weren't very good at English, and I designed a whole unit around Moko at school, and I had got a video clip off YouTube. A friend had done it, so I got him to record a copy for me, and so in that way I learned a lot more about dolphins, because through being really interested in Moko, you know, one of the questions was about bottlenose dolphins and other variety of dolphins, and of course from there we learnt more about Opo, who was another dolphin that had survived in New Zealand for a very short time, and how Opo had died. There were a couple of journal stories. We had a marine land in Napier which had dolphins in captivity, so I guess for me I learnt a lot more about the dolphin. Yeah, Moko brought a lot of people to Mahia. The businesses like the pub and the shop, I mean, I think they made $10,000 more a year just with having a dolphin here. Our bay, which normally we have pretty much to ourselves, we get busy at New Year, Christmas and New Year, but you couldn't get a car park from one end of the bay to the other on a nice day, and Moko would be down there. There would just be crowds, and people would actually come to Mahia just to see the dolphin. My daughter flew from Wellington once she knew it was here. She'd actually been on holiday with us and gone back to Wellington, and that weekend was the first time that the dolphin arrived, and she flew back the next weekend, and my husband put her in a boat and managed to find the dolphin, and we had other friends and they all dived and played and swam. It was over at Opatama. She was often sheltered at Opatama. If she wasn't here, she would have a piece of water at Opatama. That was her home, and you know, that's how unbelievable it was. You could actually say to people, look, come and we'll show you the dolphin. She would go away sometimes for 3 days at a time. I wouldn't know what that was for, whether it was to feed or to rest. But she always would turn up again. But that was one of the things, whenever she went away, you always thought, will this be the last time that we will see her? And then I understand she followed a fishing boat to Gisborne, and from there she moved up the coast back to Gisborne, and then further up north. So her reasoning for that, whether it was just more people to play with or whether she was looking for a mate, we'd never know why she left the area. But you know, Mahia was a special home to her for I think 2 years, and the winter time I think she was lonely. That's when the fishermen and the crayfishermen that went out had a bit of fun for her. But as I say, in the summertime she just had, you would see where Moko was, because there would just be crowds of people around her. I was away at the time, and I'm pleased she didn't die at Mahia, but I accepted her death as I accepted her being here. It was just something that was always going to happen, because she was not living with her, the people that would protect her or look after her. She was alone.